friends, welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are all doing really well. So here we are with a brand new book haul for our first for 2025. So Matthew and I did do a little bit of book hunting in December, not too much, but I was super excited with the finds that I actually got. We have some ghosty books to put on the shelf. We've got some books out of, series that we are collecting, some new romance, and some randoms that I found that looked really interesting. So I hope you guys are excited, and we're going to continue hauling thrift books throughout the year, and I have a lot of de-stickering ahead of me for this weekend. So first and foremost, so I can get this one out of the way, we did find another Anne Rice hardcover. So there were a couple at one of my thrift stores, and I was super disappointed because they were ridiculously expensive. And but they did have this one Lasher, which is part of the Mayfair series, at my local thrift store here in my community, and it was $6.50, which I'm still not super happy about, but considering how expensive the other ones were in the big city, I was super excited to find these. So a lot of you will know that I am collecting Anne Rice hardcovers. The paperbacks not really, but the hardcovers I definitely wanted as part of my collection. And I do want to reread the Mayfair series eventually. I know there's a show, I haven't seen it. Let me know if you guys have seen the show. I believe it's on Prime or AMC maybe. I haven't watched it, and I have no idea how close to the books it is. I can't remember a whole lot from the Mayfair series books. I read them when I was a teenager, and it's something that I definitely want to reread. There's a few of Anne Rice's books that I want to reread over the coming years, so definitely grabbing the hardcovers when I can find them. And then I was super excited to find two more for my ghosty shelf. So this one is in almost immaculate condition. It's Halloween Trivia. Ghosts, ghouls, skeletons, vampires, witches and graveyards, spiders, zombies, and haunted houses. My goodness. And just from the kind of sort of design, font used on the cover, and just the way the spine is and everything, this would almost perfectly fit with my Ghost House series. I don't know if it somehow is part of the Ghost House, but just it was purchased by another publisher, or it just has very similar art. Look at that pumpkin. Yes. Now that we're into the new year, I mean, we're going to be starting to plan for Old School April, which is halfway to Halloween. So super excited, and it has the old kind of haunted Victorian house on the front, which I absolutely love. So this would be really fun to sit down with on a weekend and go through it. I know Matthew was really super excited that I found this one too. So another one for the ghosty shelf. And then I did find this one for the ghosty shelf as well, another hardcover. So this is the Anthology of Ghost Stories, edited by Richard Dalby. And so it has this kind of, what would you call this, crumbling sort of castle. It looks like it's over in Scotland somewhere. And so this is an anthology of fictional ghost stories, and it does have a few really well-known authors in here. Wilkie Collins is in here, Ramsey Campbell, Charles Dickens, Arthur Conan Doyle, but it's some of their stories that are least well known, that usually their more famous stories are part of these anthologies. So that's kind of what really grasped me onto this one. And the sticker price on the back was ridiculous, so when I went up to the cash, I definitely fought them for it. I thought it was ridiculous. Like, I know these books are out of print, but I can go to like actual used bookstores and pay probably less than that, so that was ridiculous. So I was glad that they gave it to me for a better price, and I'm really excited to put this one on the ghosty shelf. I love the cover. The only thing is that the text is a little bit small, and we all know that my eyes don't work very well, so I may have to download it on digital copy, but I was still super excited to get another one for the ghosty shelf. And then books out of series that we know that I already collect. We did find one in the Cheerleader series. These are super rare. I don't see them a whole lot around, so I was super excited to find one of these. Last year I tried and failed to do like a cheerleader vlog, a cheerleader sort of reading and watching vlog, and I failed. And I might try that again this year and pick up some of these because they look super cheesy. They're from, I think, the 90s. Oh, this one, it says Faith is a good friend to me. From always, Pamela. So apparently Faith had gotten this as a gift. So that's super, super cute. So 1996, and I got it for $1.99, so that was pretty good. And this is number 13 in the series, and I knew from the cover that I didn't have this one, so I had to grab it for the collection. And then next up, for my movie and show novelization shelf, I did find 2 Sabrinas that I don't own. So this one, I'll Zap Manhattan, is number 18 in the series and is in fairly good condition. There was another one on the shelf with these, but it was like, I think it was water damaged and a little bit torn, so I left that one behind. And then this one, Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Oh, this one doesn't actually have, this is because it's book number 1 in the series, so I don't have this one. So there's no title, like there's no subtitle like is on this one. So it's just it just says it's a novelization of the show. So really super excited to find this one. It's beautiful, it's sparkly and embossed, it's all the things. And it says on the inside, number 2 is Showdown at the Mall, which must have been released shortly after this one. So really excited to get the first one in the series because, you know, you always want to start with number 1. And usually they're a little bit more scarce to find. So super, super excited to have those to add to my movie and show novelization shelf. And then 2 out of the Babysitters Club that I don't have. So this one, I was a little bit disappointed because there's a little bit of a tear in the cover, but this is one of the higher numbers, which they're really rare to find, you know, the higher numbers in the Babysitters Club. So this is number 115, Jessie's Big Break. So Jessie, of course, is the ballerina babysitter. So I was super excited to find that because the higher numbers, I don't have a whole lot of them. And then I did find one out of the portrait collection. So I think I only have another one out of the portrait collection. So this is centered around specifically Claudia. And I think out of the original girls, I think it's probably one of my 2 favorite out of the original girls. And so I was super, super excited to find this because these portrait collection ones are also really, really hard to find. And this one does have a little bit of a different cover than the one that I do have in the collection. So I don't know if this is an alternate cover. So I'll keep an eye out if there's one that matches the other one. We did find another one in the Sweet Valley University series. So this is A Married Woman, number 5 in the Sweet Valley University series, and fairly good condition. So the SVU and I think it's Sweet Valley Seniors are a little bit harder to find. So I was super excited to get this one in such great condition. And as a kid, you know, I read some Sweet Valley, but it wasn't my go-to jam. A lot of my friends read a lot of the Sweet Valley books, but I haven't read any out of the University series or the Seniors. So I'll definitely want to check those out, you know, because the girls are a little bit older, and of course they're talking about, like, you know, serious relationships and marriages and all of that kind of stuff. So super excited for that one. And then the Sweet Valley University kind of leads into more for my romance collection. So my romance collection is getting humongous, which is hilarious because I am not a romance reader. However, Lurleen McDaniel, we all know that I love to collect Lurleen McDaniel. I read a couple of her books when I was younger, and they're really over the top dramatic. So this one is actually 2 novels in one. The End of Forever, Summer Between Life and Death, It's Time to Let Go. So it's hard for me to read the synopsis on the back of these because there's big old stickers on them. But we all know that her books usually have to do with, like, somebody dying, and it's really, really sad, and it's full of drama, over-the-top drama and romance and all the things. Sometimes they have a little bit of a religious angle as well, but because I enjoyed her one or two books when I was a teenager, I definitely wanted to have more of hers for my collection, and it's getting quite big now. So the other one, like I said, sometimes it has a religious angle. So this is Angels Watching Over Me. It doesn't really have a subtitle or anything, but it's about this girl who meets her hospital roommate, who's another young girl. She's an Amish girl, and her big family. Cynical 16-year-old Leah has never known people like this before, from Rebecca's handsome brother Ethan, who can barely look Leah in the eye, and her kind older sister Charity. The Amish family captures Leah with its simple, loving ways when Leah receives frightening information about her condition. Her new friends show her that miracles can happen. So I'm not sure if this has anything to do with the other book that I have of Lillian McDaniels that has like an Amish theme to it. I'm not sure if they're related or not, but sounds definitely like something she would write, and it sounds like it's kind of up my alley when I want to pick up those romance books. So I know I've mentioned it 100 times before, but we'll probably do a vlog this year as like, you know, horror lover reads romance or something. I'll let you guys know what I think of some of the romance books that I have in my collection. And this one just has, you know, one of those cheesy covers on it. So this is from The First Love from Silhouette, book number 22, That Special Summer by Deborah Kent. America's favorite teenage romance. Of course it is. Everybody claims it's America's favorite teenage romance. So this is another cheesy one that we've got for the romance. Well, I can't say the romance shelf. It's the romance shelves now because I have so many of these bloody books. But it has a fantastic cover. It looks super cheesy, and you know, it's just going to have all of those wonderful ridiculous feels that I think is going to be absolutely hilarious. And you know, it's always good to get a little bit of a palate cleanser from all the horror that I watch and read and everything. So I'll probably throw in some of these this year, and also probably some you know, kids books as well. And then this is a series that I haven't heard of before. So this is book number 3 in the summer series. And I love the pink on the edge here. And it definitely has, the cover just screams 90s in California. So this is August Magic by Catherine Applegate, the best-selling author of Ocean City. So we have these 2 lovebirds on the front here. And on the inside it has a step back cover, and it says, will Summer find her one true love? Somehow I doubt it, but we'll see what happens. One girl, one guy, one unforgettable summer. So we all had those summer romances when we were growing up. So this actually sounds really, really good to me because it just reminds me of my teenage years so much. So like I said, the romance shelves are getting full, so I definitely have to pick up some of these this year and probably do a vlog and invite you guys along when I read all of the wonderful cheese that's just gonna make me laugh and make me super happy. And then 2 more out of series that I do collect that has nothing to do with romance. So we do have another Screech Owls book. So this is number 22, Trouble at the Top of the World. So this looks like it takes place probably in Nunavut somewhere. And if you haven't heard me talk about this series before, the Screech Owls is like a hockey team, and they get into all kinds of adventures and mysteries and all of this kind of stuff. And it always takes place at, you know, different places around Canada. And I haven't read any of them yet. I do want to get into them because they look super, super cute. And my collection is getting fairly big now. And speaking of cheesy Canadian fiction, children's fiction, YA, whatever you want to call it, we do have another Eric Wilson. This is a Tom Austen mystery. So we have Liz Austen mysteries and Tom Austen mysteries. And it's kind of like Nancy Drew and the Hardy Boys, but it's Canadian and it's cheesy, and it takes place, you know, in different historical places around the country. So this is the Prairie Dog Conspiracy. So I would assume this would take place probably somewhere in Alberta. I can't really get to the synopsis, like I said, on the back because of the sticker. But another one, what number is this? This is number 12 in the collection. So my Tom and Liz Austen Mysteries collection is also getting quite big. So I definitely had to pick up more of these. I did read Vampires in Ottawa a couple of years ago. It was super, super cute. It was the first one that I had out of that series, so I definitely want to read more. And of course, all of us Gen X and older millennials, we know about the Secret of NIMH. And so I found Mrs. Frisbee and the Rats of NIMH by Robert C. O'Brien. So this has a wonderfully vintage cover on it. It's in fantastic condition considering its age. You know, I love when just barely the edges are kind of yellowed, but it's still in really good condition. So this particular copy is from 1986, and you know, like I said, considering how old it is, it looks absolutely fantastic. So I definitely have to rewatch. I haven't seen The Secret of NIMH in so long, but it's something that, like I said, those stories, if you're a later millennial or Gen X kid, that's definitely something we grew up with. So I was super, super happy to find this one. And of course, as a lover of the Gothic, we all know that I love Edgar Allan Poe. So this is an Avi book, and it says author of Something Upstairs, which is a book that I did read in 2024. And this one is The Man Who Was Poe. And so this is a fiction book that revolves around, you know, a kid who has something on the go with learning about Edgar Allan Poe. But I just love the cover on this. And like I said, it's kind of a little bit harder to get to the synopsis because I haven't de-stickered these yet. But just that it has to do with Edgar Allan Poe, I mean, it had to immediately go in my cart, so I picked this one up. And then I found this one. I believe it's a mystery. So it says, From the Mixed Up Files of Mrs. Basil E. Frankweiler, written and illustrated by E.L. Koenigsberg. And it's a Laurel Leaf Newbery book. And it has to do with these kids who go on an adventure in a museum. And again, I can't really get to the synopsis, but it's fairly old and a Newbery Award winner. Let's just see if we can find out when this one's from. September 1973, so really, really super cute. And it is inscribed on the front, and this is such teacher writing. I'll show you guys in a second. It says, in memory of your grade 6 year from Mrs. Hoffman. And so this was obviously a gift to a student from a teacher, which is super, super cute. My mom was a teacher, so this stuff always means a lot to me. So just look at that writing. It's definitely teacherish writing, and it definitely looks like it's from the 70s. So super, super cute, and in really, really good condition. So I'll throw this one up on the fantasy shelf. And speaking of fantasy adventure, we also have this one, The Moon Key by J.R. Stample. And the first thing that drew me to this is, of course, the purple on the cover. We all know that purple is my favorite color. And then I can get to a little bit of the synopsis on the back here. It says, small and silver, Wendy's only memento from her parents is a crescent-shaped pendant that opens a door to a new world, a magical world. Soon Wendy will be swimming with the sea lions at Central Park Zoo and lighting the torch on the Statue of Liberty, all due to her newfound magical talents. So, young girl, probably a witch or magical herself that goes into an alternate world. So very, very Twitches sounding to me. I've never heard of this one, but it sounds super, super good. So if you know anything about this book, let me know down in the comments. And then we have another Laurel Leaf contemporary fiction, the first in the Austen family series, Meet the Austens by Madeline D'Angelo, author of A Wrinkle in Time and a Newbery Medal Award winner. So this one has a wonderful vintage cover as well from April 1981. Just look at that. And, you know, sometimes these contemporary books from back in the day is really all the feels that you need. I love finding books like this that as soon as you look at the cover, you're kind of feeling stuff from your childhood, right? And again, I can't really get to the synopsis on the back, but super, super excited to put this one in the library and just throw it up in the contemporary section. And then I was super, super excited to find this one, A Little Princess, which is a classic that I haven't yet read. I did read The Secret Garden, and I do have kind of like a dual DVD that has The Secret Garden from 1993, which is a favorite, and The Little Princess or A Little Princess on the other side of the disc. And I haven't watched it because I didn't have the book and I wanted to read the book. So super, super excited to put this one up in kind of that children's middle grade section. Like I said, haven't read it myself, but super, super excited to get to it. And next, I have a couple of books by this author now, Phyllis Reynolds Naylor, and this is The Grand Escape, and it's also illustrated, which is super cool. And it says on the back, Marco and Polo have been house cats long enough. Together they make a grand escape to the outside world. But what is waiting for them as they search for food and shelter? So just, you know, a little adventure for house cats that escape and get into the wild. So, really super excited to get into this one, and I want to read some of her other books as well because they sound super adventurous. So let me know if you know any Phyllis Reynolds Naylor, if they come up on your favorites from your childhood. And then we have an Apple paperback, of course, with this signature kind of frame around the front. Whenever I see this style of cover, like, it just harkens back to my elementary school library. And this is Yesterday's Doll by Cora Taylor. Now, I've read another book by Cora Taylor when I was a kid, and I can't remember which one it is, but this one sounds really, really good. It says, Meg is recovering from rheumatic fever. So her grandmother gives her an old-fashioned family doll named Jessie. I have an old-fashioned doll named Jessie. She's haunted. She's in the library, and you're going to meet her in another little while. Meg thinks that she's too old for dolls until she falls asleep holding Jessie and wakes up to discover she's gone back in time. Now Meg has to become Morg, a girl traveling west across the Canadian prairies in a covered wagon. Soon, with Jessie's help, Meg is traveling back and forth between the past and the present. So how fantastic does that sound? And of course, another Canadian author. I believe it was actually Cora Taylor who came to our elementary school, if I'm not mistaken. So sounds fantastic. I mean, anything to do with dolls is, especially magical dolls, is going to be right up my alley. And like I said, you're going to meet my magical doll coming up here in a little while when I go through my updated library tour. And then last but not least is another classic, and of course I've seen the movie 100 times, Freaky Friday by Mary Rogers. So this is definitely, you know, a very vintage looking cover. Look at that. So I've never read the original story, so because the movie is such a beloved part of like me growing up, and I still watch it every year, I thought it would be great to add the book to my library. So let me know if you guys have read the book or if you've just watched the movie. There's a couple of movie adaptations that I've seen, but I was really super excited to get the book, so let me know if you've read that one in your childhood. So there you guys go. That is our very first book haul for 2025. We are going to continue to thrift throughout the year. I am trying to keep it on the down low a little bit because there's stuff that I want to do with the library. There needs to be some paint in here. We're putting up new shelves. You know, I'm making it nice and cozy down here as a space for me to do my work. And it's freezing in here right now. I actually have one of those like heat dish kind of things, and it's still super cold down here. So I'm going to be doing a little bit of a library tour coming up here, and what is going to be upcoming in the library in 2025. So I'll definitely take you guys along for that adventure. But other than that, if you enjoy the video, give me a thumbs up, leave me a question or comment down below, because you know I love chatting with you guys. But until next time, stay spooky, everybody. Bye.